I've been noticing an increased trend in cube addiction affecting children between the ages of 0 and 75. To investigate this phenomenon further, we'll take the initiative. The latest drug in this cube addiction is none other than Cube World. It's a third-person action RPG currently in its alpha stage. This is being made by Picroma, a team of 2 developers consisting of a guy named Wollay and his wife Pixxie. I was fascinated by the whole concept of the game, so let's take a closer look. The big selling point of the game is the random world generator. Think of Minecraft's world generation on steroids. The terrain generator is amazing for the most part. The whole landscape looks and feels very diverse, like you have forests, mountains, lakes, rivers, dungeons, roads going from town to town. Even the towns themselves are randomly generated with a large degree of sophistication. The combat feels great. Though it is lacking a lot of abilities, the controls feel very fluid and I have no problems executing basic attacks. This foundation is great for when they start to add in new abilities. But the first few hours in feels very grindy. You start with 2 attacks, one is a primary attack, and the other is a secondary attack that uses your mana. You do not start with any abilities, and the ones you can unlock are very few and very simple. There's a lot of things still on the way for the game. Tooltips for many things are missing, so you have to figure out for yourself what everything does and how effective they are because the game doesn't tell you for the most part. Just experiment with everything you can get your hands on. The quests are also missing. This is one of the planned features for the game, and it's probably why it's so grindy. Completing a quest would usually reward you with some XP, some gold, powerful items, so the lack of a quest system means the only way you can level up is if you kill the same enemies over and over again. You can raid a dungeon, kill the mobs, take some items, and kill the boss at the end. So finding a dungeon is like being assigned a quest, but aside from killing the boss, there's no reward. Hang gliding and sailing are in the game, but again, you have to grind away, level up, and assign your skill points to unlock it. Some of those skill points have to go towards your combat abilities so that you can continue leveling up at a reasonable rate. I wasn't able to do these things at this point in time, so I wasn't able to sail across the ocean or hang glide off a mountain. I have done quite a bit of exploration in my world. I was able to travel quite a distance away to get to the ocean, and then come back and then travel the opposite direction and get to another town. I'd imagine there's going to be a lot of things to do as the game gets developed, and that's just to land around one single town. I can imagine all the adventures you're going to have going from one town to the next. It's just a matter of time. For multiplayer, it has dedicated servers and LAN support. I was unable to connect to any servers, and the connection screen is just a single box where you enter an IP address, and there's no copy and paste functionality, so I tried 4 servers before I gave up. Yeah, I know, I'm lazy. So from my few hours of exploring my world and playing with a couple classes, I can tell you that the game has nailed the basics. It has a robust terrain generator, smooth combat, and some pretty nifty ideas. But again, it's very basic, and it's still missing a lot of the features that make a game like this fun for a lot of people. The game needs more time in the oven. I couldn't try multiplayer, but the whole game lends itself to be more enjoyable with other people. Build yourself a server box, get your buddies together, and have an adventure in your own private world. Let's leave it there for the time being. We still have to analyze how this game will do in the market. In the next few weeks, I expect interest for the game to die down quickly. There's not a whole lot you can do in the game yet, and the things you can do, like going through dungeons, you have to grind it out and level up before you can do that. Besides, it's summertime. Some of you are going outside, and those of you who aren't, we have the Steam sales. You'll be busy with other things in the short term, so many of you will be playing Cube World as a matter of curiosity, but after a few hours, you'll want a more fleshed out experience. As the major features are implemented into the game, we'll see the interest picking up again in a few months. I expect at least 2 or 3 new features implemented by this time. At the very least, one of them will be a functioning quest system. Again, this is the big feature that would alleviate many of the current problems. With its dedicated servers and LAN support, I can see this being popular at LAN parties. A lot of games are moving towards an online environment, so I would expect to see any new and popular games with LAN support to be played in a venue with thousands of PCs. But I would also give fair warning to everyone about their worlds. I would expect there to be changes to the world generator and to your characters. This means exploring new areas will create artifacts in older worlds, similar to how it happens in Minecraft. I would also expect to see incompatibilities when upgrading to the latest version. Not 100% sure how it works here, but since the game is still in major development, I would expect to start from scratch occasionally. At this point in time, Cube World is very basic and it can be very tedious and boring. This is for people who like to contribute to something, people who like to experiment with stuff, see what works, see what doesn't, and then give this feedback to the developers who will improve their product. But if you're not one of those people, check back on this game from time to time. The ideas and the underlying core of the gameplay is solid. It just needs to be fleshed out more before it can appeal to more people. I was fascinated by the ideas and what the game has to offer so far, and I'm reading a good vibe from the developers that they have a genuine passion for this game they're making for us, so I didn't hesitate to give them my money. The game is €15, which is around $20. Take that into consideration because the game will be going up in price as time goes on, so it may be worthwhile to buy the game now and then wait a few months to play it. But your mileage may vary. As always, I'll do my follow-up at that time, so look forward to it. Thanks for watching.